In 1984, I still carried the weight of old memories that time hadn't yet softened. Back then, I believed love was something that came with promises and fireworks. But after August left, all I had were the echoes of words that never turned into anything real. I built a wall around myself, quiet and solid, and told Mama that I'd be fine, just the way things were. Then came Ben. He wasn't loud, or charming, or in a hurry. He simply appeared first, helping to carry a sack of corn to the store, then bringing a borrowed hoe to fix a garden bed. His gestures were quiet, patient, steady. No rush to conquer, no fear of distance, just presence, the kind I wasn't used to receiving. In 1986, something in me began to change. My heart, once hardened by August's absence, didn't ache anymore. What remained was just a scar, and scars don't hurt like open wounds. They only remind you that one day, they did. Sometimes I wondered if Ben could ever make me trust again. I didn't know, but one thing grew clear. If I ever walked beside someone again, it wouldn't be because of promises, but because of steady gestures. And step by step, Ben showed me that actions weigh more than words. In 1987, I turned 31. The world around me seemed the same dusty roads, the same quiet fields, but inside, something stirred. A silent push, reminding me that life doesn't wait for our certainty. I couldn't live halfway anymore, not buried in the past, not wide open to the unknown. Ben became more present, even without trying. I often saw him at sunrise, his bicycle loaded with tools, heading out to help someone. One morning he passed by and said, "Today I'm building the new butcher's wall." Another day, at the market, he asked if I needed some clay to fix the yard after the rain. Small words, but they carried weight. Mama, always watching, had her own opinion. One afternoon, while sewing on the porch, she said, "Evelyn, courage is also a woman's thing." "Courage for what, Mama?" I asked, pretending not to understand. "To let go of fear and accept what God puts in your path." I went quiet. I knew exactly what she meant. That night, lying in my hammock, I wondered if what held me back was caution or fear. In 1988, when I was 32, a strong wind tore part of our roof off. Before I could even call anyone, Ben appeared at the gate. He'd seen the broken tiles and came offering help. He climbed up with ease, replacing the damaged tiles, patient and focused. I held the ladder below, passing him what he needed. At one moment, a tile slipped from his hand and nearly hit me. "Careful, Evelyn," he said, not angry, but protective. That tone pierced me in a way I didn't expect. It had been years since anyone had truly worried about me. When he finished, he said softly, "No need to pay now. Whenever you can." I thanked him. He just nodded and walked away. Watching him go, I thought, maybe I could find the courage to let someone in again. In 1989, I turned 33 and decided I couldn't keep waiting. Life doesn't pause for anyone. The community gathered for a big effort to build a new classroom at the school. I helped by carrying bricks, sweeping, bringing water. Ben was there too. As always, steady, kind, guiding others without making them feel small. That day, as the sun went down, I walked beside him halfway down the road. We didn't say much, but before parting, I gathered all my courage and said, "Ben, if you'd like, come by on Sunday. Mama would like that." He didn't smile or act surprised. "I'll come," he said simply. That night, I trembled not from fear, but from relief. The wall around my heart had a small opening now. In 1990, I turned 34, and Ben came to our home not to fix something, but to share a Sunday meal. Mama cooked her best rice beans, and a piece of dried meat she'd saved for special days. Ben arrived early, clean and quiet, bringing a handful of oranges as a gift. The meal was calm, full of pauses and soft words. It wasn't uncomfortable, it was peace. When he left, saying "God bless," I closed the door and felt the weight of something new inside me. I was opening not just the door to our home, but to my heart. By 1991, at 35, Ben was part of our lives. He came by often, helped with chores, joined us on Sundays. People whispered, "Is it a courtship?" I laughed it off, but deep down I knew it was more. One evening, after a long day, Ben came by the gate, tired and dusty. "Need help with the fence?" he asked. I told him not to worry. He smiled slightly. "Fences can wait, Evelyn. Some things need more care than that." Then he left. I thought about that all night. Maybe he meant me. In 1992, when I turned 36, I got sick with a strong fever. Mama was anxious, but it was Ben who showed up with medicine, tea, and quiet patience. He stayed by my hammock, just sitting there, making sure I wasn't alone. When I got better, I called him outside. Ben, I said, I don't want illusions. I've waited too long for those who left. If you want to walk beside me, it has to be slow but steady. He looked at me and said, slow is how you build a strong wall. Evelyn, I don't know any other way. And I realized then it wasn't about accepting a man into my life. It was about accepting that life was offering me a second chance. The next week, he came to the house early. No tools, no excuses. Just him. He took off his hat and said, Evelyn, we've known each other for years. I'm not one for games. Will you be my girlfriend? My heart raced. I looked at Mama on the porch. She was smiling softly. I will, Ben, I said, but only if it's for something real. It is, he said, when I build, it's meant to last. From that day on, life shifted. Ben would walk me home from church. We'd sit by the creek, not saying much but feeling everything. It wasn't a romance of grand gestures, it was quiet companionship. Weeks later, he came again, hat in hand, and said to Mama, Miss Selina, I'd like your blessing to marry Evelyn. Mama's eyes welled with tears. If it's to care for her, you have my blessing, she said. And so, we married. Then, one day, I felt something different. Morning sickness, missed days, a strange flutter in my belly. I was pregnant. I was no longer young, and people whispered. Some said it was dangerous. Others said it was a late blessing. I didn't know what to believe. Ben took the news calmly, his voice steady. If God sent it, it's because we can handle it. The months were hard. I tired easily. The sickness came often. Mama prayed. The midwives came with herbs and whispered prayers. Ben fetched water, fixed the hammock, and cared for me with silent devotion. Then, one night, the pain came strong. The hours dragged, my strength fading. I heard one of the midwives whisper, it's risky. She's older now. But when I thought I couldn't go on, a cry broke through the night. A baby boy, Peter, small, fragile but alive. Ben entered with tears in his eyes. Evelyn, he said, you brought the greatest gift this house has ever seen. Life was never the same. The baby's cry filled the silence that once ruled our home. The sound of pots, of wind, of laughter, all mixed into something beautiful. Years passed. Peter grew strong, curious, full of life. Our house was no longer quiet, it was alive. Then, one hot afternoon, a shadow returned. A man stood by the gate, hat in hand, eyes tired. It was August. After more than 20 years, he was back. I came to ask forgiveness, he said, and maybe, to start over. Ben came out beside me, calm and silent. His presence alone said everything. I looked at Peter, laughing in the yard, and then at August. What you left in me was emptiness, I told him. But that emptiness has been filled. There's no place left for what's gone. He lowered his head, turned, and walked away. That night, under the stars, I sat beside Ben on the porch. Life didn't turn out as I once imagined, I said, but it became exactly what it needed to be. He nodded. We're together. That's what matters. Years rolled by. Mama passed peacefully, leaving behind faith and love. We heard that August wandered nearby towns, older, broken by his choices, but I felt no anger, only peace. Ben and I grew old together. Peter became a man, and every smile of his reminded me that the wait, the pain, the courage, it had all been worth it. Last year, Ben passed away. Quiet as always, surrounded by love. The house feels different now, but his presence remains in every corner. Years rolled by. Mama passed peacefully, leaving behind faith and love. We heard that August wandered nearby towns, older, broken by his choices, but I felt no anger, only peace. Ben and I grew old together. Peter became a man, and every smile of his reminded me that the wait, the pain, the courage, it had all been worth it. Last year, Ben passed away. Quiet as always, surrounded by love. The house feels different now, but his presence remains in every corner. Today, at 69, I sit on this same porch where I once waited for letters that never came, but I'm no longer that girl. I am a woman who has lived, who has loved, who has rebuilt. The wind blows softly, the trees whisper, and I rest in peace within the arms of time. If life taught me anything, it's that waiting only matters when what you receive isn't an empty promise, but a true presence. My name is Evelyn. My story is not one of abandonment, but of rebirth. And now, I'd like to hear yours. Tell me, what has time taught you about love and waiting?